On NewsHour tonight, UniJos students declare support for ASUU's planned strike. Benue farmers traders urge price balance as food costs defy market trends. Poor driving habits, weak regulation blamed for surge in road accidents. On the foreign scene, at least 60 killed in attack on Sudan's Al-Fashir, activists say. This is NewsHour on Trust TV. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Students of the University of Jos have thrown their weight behind the proposed strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, describing the move as timely. The ASUU leadership had begun mobilizing its members across universities nationwide following the government's silence after a strike notice was served to relevant authorities, including the Minister of Labour and Employment, Megari Dingyadi. Speaking during an interactive session between ASUU and the Students' Union of Government (SUG) leadership, the students noted the strike action has always been a last resort for lecturers. Adomusa tells us more in this report.
The interactive session, organized by the ASUU Students' Relations Committee, aimed to brief students on the ongoing issues between ASUU and the federal government, as well as the union's position on the planned industrial action. President of the Students' Union Government, Pajok Kangyang, declared the students' support for the strike during the session held at the ASUU Secretariat, University of Jos. According to her, the academic staff have exhausted all peaceful avenues, including several warnings and ultimatums, to get the government to meet their demands, but to no avail. Hence, the students backing the strike.
I think that looking at the education system in general in Nigeria, it's not difficult to understand that Nigeria's education system is honestly very poor. As Students' Union Government president, I've been to faculties where there are no seats. Sometimes there's no water in the hostel. There's no light for a couple of days. There are numerous challenges, and I do not think that the government does enough in terms of funding the universities. I believe that these strikes or these necessary actions, especially because I understand that ASUU works on 3 C's. The first C is consultation, consolidation, and then confrontation. So having heard them explain what they have done in the last 6 months, how they have tried to discuss with the federal government, arranged meetings with them, sent in documents, it's been a back and forth of so many weeks and so many months. I believe that the strike action is the last resort, always for ASUU. And if it's gotten to the point where they're doing the last resort, it means federal government on their own part haven't done what they're supposed to have done.
Chairperson of ASUU UniJos, Professor Julbe Molwus, said the engagement with students was crucial, given their stake in the education sector. He explained that the union had explored every possible options to avoid the strike, but was left with no choice but to inform students of the impending action.
At a university, without expecting enrollment, you cannot employ lecturers. Cannot employ anybody. So nobody, no matter how unaware they are, will undermine the critical stake that the students hold in the university system. And we are mindful of the fact that they feel negatively affected when we go on strike. And it is important for us to make them understand the level of sacrifices that we deploy in our actions, that we are not unmindful of the delay they suffer. And that is why whenever we resume strike, we have sleepless nights, restless days, to ensure that we complete our work and we graduate.
Earlier, the convener of the session, Dr. Jimamlar, explained ASUU's continuous struggle to ensure the federal government fulfills its obligations to the union and the education sector.
The government has abandoned primary and secondary education. Standards have fallen. It is the same thing they want to do to our universities. Virtually every rich person in Nigeria has a stake in a private university. They want to drop the standard to the level that the private universities will now flourish. That's where we're going. That is what ASUU is standing against.
ASUU hinted that it may declare a 1-week warning strike any moment from next week, after which an indefinite strike may follow if nothing is done. The union also urged students to use all available channels to appeal to the federal government to address their concerns before it is too late. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The high cost of grocery items in Nigerian markets, despite a sharp decrease in the prices of farm produce, has remained a source of serious concern for farmers and dealers. They are now calling on relevant authorities to urgently address the disparity in prices to ensure affordability for all categories of people. In this special report, our correspondent in Benue State examines the growing imbalance between the prices of farm produce and other grocery items.
The removal of petroleum subsidy at the inception of the current administration led to a sharp increase in prices of goods and services, including farm produce across the country, a development that has significantly affected the cost of living, leaving many households struggling to survive. However, some traders in Makidi told Trust TV that a recent sharp fall in the prices of farm produce has had a negative impact on their daily income and overall livelihood.
Like in December, we bought soya beans at the rate of 1,700 to 1,800 per kilo. Now, a kilo of seed is 1,000 naira.
They explained that a drastic drop in farm produce prices has made it difficult for them to meet basic needs, including sending their children back to school, especially as prices of other household items remain high.
As the price of food is crashing, let the price of other things, other commodities like zinc, petrol, and other things, let the price also crash. Let it not be only farm produce. If only farm produce is crashing, it means the farmer, if this thing continue like that for the next 3 years, nobody will go to farm. Because farm is also a business. You cannot expect somebody to spend like 501 million into farm, invest into farm. At the end of the day, you cannot get to 500,000.
Business dey very dull this time around because things are very expensive inside market, but the prices are going high every day. Our customers, farmers are complaining that they will not go to farm again because of after farming, when selling those things in the cheaper rent, if they go to the market to get foodstuff, we are begging that the price of fertilizer should come down so that farmers will be able to come to the market and get their fertilizer for their crops.
Our market is not steady. Like this bag now, last year is higher than this year. Because some bags where we buy high last year, they take on than this year. The things cannot balance. One say that this thing price will be continue to stay steady. No price will not stay steady.
They sell this akpu here at a very cheap rate. As the children don't resume school now, I go to buy the school bag, I no fit buy am because the price is too big.
Some of the traders also expressed fear that the proposed 45 naira increase in petrol price by January 2026 will further worsen their economic situation.
This are the old woman carrying so and being like 2 mudu. If I go engine now, they will grant like 500 naira. If I come to say my money is not back, the fuel is too much. Because even to go to Guruku, I'm trekking.
This our market don't hard now well. Normally now na season where I put the fine because water day they do and fine well when to sell and be problem. As we they buy for cheap price now, my money no con day, so people know they buy and we know they get return. If you buy before you get small thing, we go hand on top it hard. And when you go inside market to buy like oil, the price of oil they high and Maggi. So the thing they hard now.
Now we be 3,000 like this. Before you go finish, I go carry 3 bags inside. As I they carry, so now the capital they go.
It is, however, hoped that timely intervention will help alleviate the suffering of ordinary Nigerians, restore balance between the prices of farm produce and grocery items.
Poor driving culture on Nigerian roads is a complex issue with multiple contributing factors, including driver behavior, regulatory failures, and inadequate infrastructure. Now, this has resulted in a high rate of accidents, with the World Health Organization, WHO, reporting Nigeria as having one of Africa's highest road traffic death rates. Trust TV's Bella Musa has more.
Certain characteristics define bad driving culture on Nigerian roads, including reckless and aggressive driving, often referred to as kamikaze driving, which is manifested in excessive speeding and dangerous overtaking. There is often widespread disobedience of traffic rules, from running red light and tailgating to disregarding speed limit and road markings. Some motorists say many of those who drive recklessly lack basic knowledge of driving. Most reckless drivers lack the basic skills and discipline required for driving. That's why we often record frequent accidents. If you are a professional driver, you can't afford to engage in reckless driving. Many of these drivers can't even pass a simple driving test, yet they are still behind the wheel. Many drivers display a lack of patience, courtesy, and consideration for other road users, viewing the road as a survival of the fittest competition.
But when it comes to reckless driving, more especially when we discover that the driver that is driving recklessly is not even qualified to be the driver in the first place, we apprehend the vehicle. We do what we impound the vehicle. By impounding the vehicle, we mean we impound the vehicle to either our base, any of our offices, or any of the police formation or any other sister security agencies closer to where we apprehend the vehicle. So when we apprehend the vehicle, we find out the driver is not qualified, we don't release the vehicle to that unqualified driver.
Hassan Yau, a veteran driver who has been in commercial driving for 40 years, attributed the menace of reckless driving to the lack of proper licensing of drivers by the concerned authorities. One had to attend coaching classes and undergo a series of tests and examinations conducted by the Vehicle Inspection Office (VIO) before obtaining a driver's license. But today, many drivers simply pay to get their license without going through the proper process. The bad driving culture can also be traced to low expectations of enforcement due to a compromised road traffic management system. However, according to the FRSC, it is checkmating the conduct of its personnel to ensure professionalism.
We have a bylaw, and everybody knows road safety is an organization that upholds the rule of law. We make sure we have what we call internal means of disciplining our staff. We have lawyers in all our formations, and we always constitute our own local internal disciplinary procedure to investigate the offense alleged to be committed by our space, and we punish them. And the punishment varies. There are some offenses that people will commit, even dismissal or termination of employment.
Many motorists are guilty of driving while under the influence of alcohol or drugs, while drivers also tend to use mobile phones, eat, or engage in conversations while driving. Bello Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
Two suspected vandals have been arrested as the Nigerian Railway Corporation (NRC) on Saturday decried increasing incidents of vandalization of its electrical and signaling installations across the Abuja, Lagos, Kaduna and Warri-Takwe corridors. A statement signed by its Chief Public Relations Officer, Callistus Unimadu, noted that the corporation described the attacks as a major threat to safe and efficient train operations. The suspects, Ibrahim Abdullahi, aged 22, and Sani Ibrahim, aged 24, were apprehended by operatives of the Nigerian Police Railway Command attached to the Abuja-Kaduna train service. They were arrested in Kaduna in connection with the recent vandalization of its equipment at the Rigasa train station area. The arrest followed the discovery on Friday at about 12:30 p.m. that a cable wire had been cut and removed from one of NRC's cranes stationed within the Rigasa facility. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has declared that the National Assembly will not be held hostage by the disruptive instincts of any of its members. A statement issued by his media aide, Eseme Eyibo, on Saturday, titled "The Trials and Triumphs of a Resilient Nigeria's 10th Senate," Akpabio said the legislature's insistence on enforcing its rules was not about silencing dissent, but about preserving order, and the sanctity of democratic institutions. He noted that the upper chamber must uphold discipline and respect for its rules to preserve the sanctity of Nigeria's democracy. Akpabio's comments followed a disagreement with Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduahan, who recently returned from a 6-month suspension. Akpoti-Oduahan has continued to contest her suspension from the Senate. The 10th Senate President further defended the right of the legislature to discipline its members when necessary, drawing parallels with other democracies where lawmakers face suspension or expulsion for violating parliamentary order. The Nigerian police force has arrested 12 suspects linked to the armed robbery incident that claimed the lives of an Arise News journalist and the security guard at Unique Apartments in Katampe Extension, Abuja. It will be recalled that gunmen invaded the building on the 29th of September 2025, killing 2 people. Somtochukwu Christella Maduago, a journalist with Arise News, and Barnabas Danlami, a security guard attached to the premises. Here's more in this report.
While briefing journalists in Abuja, the Force Public Relations Officer CSP Benjamin Udeyi revealed that the 12 suspects arrested in connection with the attack followed a coordinated and investigative-driven operation. According to Udeyi, police investigations revealed that the fatal shots that killed the security guard were fired by one of the suspects, Samshuddin Hassan, who admitted to shooting when the guard tried to stop them from entering the premises. The PRO also disclosed that the group sourced their weapons from a yet-to-identified supplier in Niger Republic and had been involved in other robbery operations across the FCT.
Following that ugly incident, the FCT Police Command swung into action, commenced investigation towards apprehending the criminals behind that robbery incident. It was a well-coordinated and intelligence-driven investigation. And through the diligent efforts of operatives of the command, we are pleased to announce to Nigerians that today we have 12 suspects in custody. Suspects that have been confirmed to be linked to that robbery incident.
As you can see, we have 12 of the suspects. We have 9 out of the suspects here. 3 of them are in hospital receiving treatment for wounds sustained during their arrest.
He commended the FCT Command's operative for their professionalism and urged residents to remain vigilant and continue to provide timely and credible information that could help prevent crime.
I would like to assure Nigerians that this is not just arrest. It doesn't stop there. These suspects will definitely and most definitely be prosecuted as soon as we wrap up our investigation. Justice must be served. Ms. Somtochukwu and Mr. Barnabas must get justice this time. And we would also like the Nigeria Police Force, under the leadership of IGP Kayode Adeolu-Egbetokun, would like to assure Nigerians that the force would continue to do everything within its power. The force would continue to deploy all human and operational resources as optimally as possible to ensure that their safety and security remains paramount, remains non-negotiable.
Arise News has announced that its late anchor, correspondent and producer, Somtochukwu Christel Maduagu, who died in a tragic armed robbery incident on September 29, 2025, will be laid to rest on Saturday, October 18, 2025. In a video on Saturday, the station says an evening of tributes will be held on Sunday, October 12, 2025 at These Days Dome, Central Business District, Abuja. Habiba Tajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
A police constable known as Ukasha Mohammed has been allegedly shot and killed by military personnel in Bauchi State. A press release issued by the Police Public Relations Officer, Bauchi State Command, CSP Ahmed Wakil, said the incident was due to a violent incident involving a patrol team led by Inspector Husseini Sumaila which occurred during a routine patrol in the Bayangari area of Bauchi. The apprehended suspect was identified as Private Usman Mubarak, a soldier attached to the Special Task Force Operation Safe Haven based in Jos, Plateau State. The commissioner has since ordered an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death, stressing the need for a thorough and discreet investigation. Meanwhile, the Acting Assistant Director, Army Public Relations, 33 Artillery Brigade, Captain Atang Khaled Solomon, has confirmed that the incident occurred, but the full details cannot be provided at the moment. However, the Army, he said, will constitute an investigation team to unravel the circumstances surrounding the tragic incident. The Abia State Police Command has rescued 18 children, comprising 8 infants and 10 stolen children, and also arrested 10 suspects for conspiracy and child theft. The command also urged members of the public whose children or infants are missing or stolen to visit the gender section of the State CID, Abia State Command, or contact the OC Gender. A statement released by DSP Maureen Chinaka, the spokesperson of the Abia State Police Command, on Friday, said that a complaint was received at Ohuru Simiri Police Divisional Headquarters that a young woman from Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, who came to Aba with her 2 children, was lured by a young man under the guise of marriage. However, upon arrival in Aba, the man asked her to get food for herself and the children while he stayed with them. On her return, she could not find the man or her children, and all efforts to reach him proved abortive. The police statement said, acting on credible and actionable intelligence, officers of the command stormed the residence where stolen children were suspected to be kept. The police statement apprehended 5 suspects and rescued 1 infant and 7 children. Recurring violent attacks have left many communities in Adamawa State living in fear and uncertainty. In Lamrude, one of the latest flashpoints, survivors of the recent Bachama-Chobo conflict still face hunger, displacement and loss. But amid the ruins, a few hands of compassion are reaching out. Gibson Swadigo reports.
Lamrude local government area has seen repeated cycles of violence, each wave leaving behind deeper wounds. The latest clash between the Bachama and Chobo communities claimed lives, destroyed homes, and forced hundreds to flee. Months later, farmlands remain untended, homes deserted, and families scattered. Many now depend on food aid to survive, unable to return to their normal lives. In a gesture of hope, the Catholic Diocese of Yola, working with other faith-based groups, has distributed food and essential items to 60 displaced families. It's a small act in the face of a big tragedy, but for those affected, it means a lot.
We have made a kind of a needs assessment of the 2 different communities, and we discover that they actually need kind of assistance now, because a lot of them have lost virtually everything. And we're able to appeal to our partners in Germany, aid to the church in need that have been helping us over the years. And so they were able to send us some money in order to assist the needy.
Bishop Mamza says the persistence of violence is a reminder that peace building must be everyone's responsibility. He calls for dialogue, security cooperation, and stronger community engagement to break the cycle of hate and revenge.
It is the people themselves that can bring that peace about, and God will be there in order to assist them in order to make sure that that peace is sustained. But they have to initiate it. They have to come together. They have to discuss. They have to see what is happening now in between Palestinians and Israel. After 2 years of fighting, killing, destruction, now peace has to be signed. So there is no gain in war. There is no gain in conflict.
For victims like Mercy James and Daniel Asogu, the aid offers temporary relief, but also rekindles the hope that peace can return someday.
What happened to us, this crisis, sincerely we feel it very bad, and it affected us badly. We have nothing to say but to thank for these items that given to us.
We go a long way in assisting our need in terms of food, because virtually we lost everything. My house was burned down, nothing I could pick inside my house. After the conflict, I have to go back home, and then even the items I'm wearing, the clothes I'm wearing now, I have to send home to retrieve the items I'm wearing now.
Adamawa State government says it is working with local leaders to restore peace and rebuild trust. Yet, for many in Lamurde, the fear of another attack still hangs heavy. A reminder that peace in the region remains fragile. From hunger to displacement, the people of Lamurde continue to live through the aftermath of violence. But as faith groups and communities reach across divides, they show that even in conflict, humanity can still find a voice. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
We'll return from the break. Stakeholders advocate use of digital tools to boost Nigerian storytelling. Just stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now look at more top stories. UniJos students declare support for ASUU's planned strike. And Benue farmers traders urge price balance as food costs defy market trends. Two more stories. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the recently concluded Kaura Namodu South constituency by-election in Zamfara State, Muhammad Lawal, has defected to the All Progressives Congress APC. Lawal, who was defeated in the by-election by the APC candidate Kamilu Saidu, announced his defection on Saturday during a consultation meeting for Zamfara Central organized by the APC support group Yazid Project in Gusau, the state capital. Explaining the reason for his decision, Lawal said the PDP neglected him after the election despite his contribution to the party's success in previous polls. He expressed confidence in the leadership of the APC under the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawale, former Governor Abdulaziz Yari, and the state party chairman, Tukuru Danfulani, saying the party would continue to grow stronger under their guidance. Receiving him into the party, the state APC chairman, Tukuru Danfulani, represented by the party's publicity secretary, Yusuf Idris, described the defection as a great achievement for the APC.
I think what influenced my mind to decamp from the PDP to APC is I'm convinced 100% within my heart that he has his intention toward the people that struggle day and night to his victory. He don't want to. He don't have feeling to assist the majority of the people that struggle day and night for his victory. He don't have that feeling for them.
We are feeling happy and we are great. And the reason he gives is quite impressive. He says during the just concluded election, he noticed that people of the area voted APC massively. And he has debunked all the insinuations and the statement made by the other PDP or the government. He says the election is free and fair. He is the candidate and he is among the strong contenders. Apart from APC, he is the second contender. But he said the election has identified the directions of the electorate in the state.
The purpose of this event is to inaugurate this particular project that we call Honorable Yazid Empulani project. It's an initiative. It's also a call to the Honorable Yazid Empulani to answer the call for his people, for the need to come and contest for the Senate position. That's the Zamfara Central Senatorial District.
Police command in Ondo State says it has arrested one suspect in connection with the abduction of a tipper driver, Toby Abdulmalik Uluwatui. Uluwatui was kidnapped by gunmen on Friday at Iluabo along the Akure-Owo Expressway in Akure, North Local Government area of the state. DSP Olushola Ayonlade, the command spokesperson who confirmed the incident on Saturday, said efforts were ongoing to arrest the perpetrators. Also, Adetunji Adeleye, the commander of Ondo State Security Network Agency, Amote Kuko, who confirmed the incident to newsmen, said operatives had begun an intensive bush combing operation to rescue the victim. Earlier, the owner of the tipper, Monday Ayeshoro, who confirmed the abduction to newsmen, said that the incident occurred around 6 a.m. on Friday when the vehicle reportedly developed a fault. According to him, the truck broke down along the way, adding that when the driver was attempting to fix the truck, armed men emerged from the bushes and whisked him away. In a renewed effort to curb the menace of criminality in Katsina State, the police command has arrested 168 suspects in connection with 195 reported cases during the month of September 2025. The arrests include 12 suspected armed robbers, 5 suspected culprits of homicide, over 20 suspected rapists, 9 suspected vandals, and 2 alleged gun runners. In Katsina, Trust TV's Abdullah Yamadi reports.
The Katsina State Police Command also disclosed that it apprehended 3 suspects for unlawful possession of firearms and 14 others for alleged illicit drug peddling, among several other criminal offenses. In another significant stride against banditry, the command said it foiled several terrorist attacks, neutralized 5 armed men, and rescued over 80 kidnapped victims within the same period.
The suspects are Abdusalam Mohammed, age 25, and Aminu Mamman, age 23, both male residents of Bauring Sapana village in Sapana local government area of Katsina State. And during preliminary investigation, the suspect confessed to have picked this exhibit from Hadija of Jigawa State, and they are on their way to Bauring Sapana forest in Sapana local government area to deliver this exhibit to criminal elements hibernating in the forest.
According to the police public relations officer, several exhibits were recovered during various operations. These include 1,298 rounds of live ammunition, 4 cartridges, 1 general purpose machine gun GPMG, 2 AK-47 rifles, and 1 locally fabricated firearm. The command also highlighted other recoveries made within the period under review.
1 den gun, 5 suspected stolen motorcycles, as well as 5 suspected stolen motor vehicles, 1,096 pieces of tramadol tablets, 42 pieces of Exol tablets, and wraps of dried goods suspected to be cannabis, and large quantities of suspected vandalized electric cables.
However, the police are appealing for more cooperation and support from members of the public to consolidate these achievements. According to the command, the fight against criminality can only be sustained through timely reporting of suspicious movements and crimes across communities in the state. Abdullahi Izma Yamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
In Bauchi State, the police command says it has uncovered suspected 387 cannabis leaves at an accident point involving 2 cars along Jos-Bauchi Highway after on-the-spot search by the security operatives and handed them over to the Nigerian Drug Law and Enforcement Agency. The State Police Commissioner Ali Usani Omolori stated this while briefing journalists at the command headquarters in the state. Trust TV's Adamu Imam has the rest of the story.
According to the command, it is currently conducting a thorough investigation into a motor vehicle accident that took place on October 4, 2025 at about 11:30 a.m. in Wom village, to the local government area along Bauchi-Jos Highway.
On 4th of October, there was an accident between two vehicles, and following that accident, our men were able to the occupants of one of the vehicles disappeared from the scene, and when the vehicles were evacuated to the division, GRA division, upon searching the vehicles, we discovered heavy substances of suspected cannabis. As you can see them, they are here, 387 blocks of cannabis.
Then we received handing over of suspected cannabis sativa, which was recovered from accident vehicle by the officers and men of the Nigerian police, which settlement. And I will really appreciate this organization. And we promise to go into detailed investigation, to find out who the occupant and the suspected owners of this exhibit by the grace of God.
An eyewitness reported that one driver attempted to overtake other vehicles without exercising adequate caution, resulting in a head-on collision with the first vehicle. According to the police, all occupants of the two vehicles sustained varying degrees of injuries and were promptly transported to Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Teaching Hospital for treatment. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
10 passengers have been reportedly killed, while 11 others sustained various degrees of injury in a road accident at Amaparo along Obajala-Lokoja Highway. The crash, which occurred on Friday, might involve a white Toyota Hiace commercial bus bearing 21 male passengers at the time of the incident. Spokesman of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Assistant Corps Marshal Olusegun Ogungbemide, announced in a statement on Saturday that the preliminary investigation of the FRSC crash team revealed that the crash was caused by speed violation and wrongful overtaking by the driver who lost control of the vehicle during a night journey. Ogungbemide said the Corps Marshal of FRSC expressed grief over the incident, warning that night travels, excessive speeding, and wrongful overtaking continue to be major causes of fatal road crashes in Nigeria. Nigerian storytelling is rapidly evolving from a traditional oral-based art form to a dynamic multi-platform industry. Aisha Adomuminu reports.
In a world where storytelling and creativity has become a vital tool in promoting economic growth and development, critical investment in this industry is required to create a society where creative are celebrated and empowered. There are more emphasis on originality as an important tool in value chain and educating younger generation on morals, traditions, and culture. The focus is on how digital landscape has helped traditional crafts for more visibility in today's society.
The theme of this discourse, which is the economics of Nigerian soft power, how storytelling and creativity can win the future for Nigeria. I think this is a very important topic for discussion, and it is the very thesis upon which we are building the future of our nation. For a very long time, the true value of our culture was spoken of in whispers of potential, but today that potential actually roars. It roars from the global stages where Afrobeat starts command adoring crowds. It resonates from the screens of millions worldwide, enchanted by the drama and authenticity of Nollywood. It is whispered in the pages of our authors who have captivated the literary world, and it is shouted from the canvas of our visual artists.
I think, to be honest, competition is not usually the right thing to focus on. Originality is actually the right thing to focus on. When you're original, you have your own market. As a musician, as a creative person, we should maintain our originality and target the market that admires our originality. And then we don't want to play the algorithm game. You fail. It's a very difficult game to play. But again, we need to also look at other value chains or other aspects of the value chain that we are currently not paying attention to. For me, I believe in promotion, music promotion. We need to really, really work with those who are either into music promotion or trying to go into that area. It's a very good, revenue stream that it's not algorithm dependent. So I think we need to improve on that and every other activity that can drive revenue that's not algorithm dependent.
The creative industry doesn't have a time frame. It's something that goes on as far as there's life. So basically what we need to do is to be intentional about how we develop the sector, because the sector is our youth majorly, and that is where our future lies. If you check, over 65% of the population of the country are within the age range of 17 to 35 years.
One's ability to survive, even a nation's ability to survive, depends largely on how well such talents, such creativity, such endowments are harnessed. It would be very like shooting ourselves on the feet, like a no-brainer for us to say we won't embrace spherically, sporadically, all holistically, all creative talents that have been endowments that nature have given Nigeria.
Driven by digital technology and the creative rival of its film and literary industry, storytelling has become a powerful tool for cultural preservation, social commentary, and a driver of economic growth. Aisha Abdulmomenu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Agriculture, tourism and SMEs dominate the discussion at the just concluded first ever Bauchi Economic Investment Summit, with pledges of over $5 billion across foreign and local investors. The youth entrepreneurs in the Northeast also assures of their commitment to the region's economic development at the summit. Trust TV's Adamu Imam completes the report.
It's the last day of the investment summit, and local and foreign enterprises are showcasing potentials for participants at the exhibition corner. The youth and women from the Northeast also pledged their commitment to invest in the region.
We thank God. We see a lot of investors here in Bauchi, and there is many people who encourage young people like us to, go and gather our little amount of, money.
I think they have the capacity to do. If you have the passion and you have the willingness, only God knows where you will stop. So the problem of youth, they don't want to start. So the first point is to start. If you start and you have the willingness, the sky will be just your starting point.
Nowadays, we are more of taking awara. I don't know the English name, but awara is more of like a snack now. So if we invest into or we move into the farming of soybeans, it's going to bring more women to be part of it. And there is talk about the tourism. They talk about tourism, the issue of Yankari, and I even have a colleague who is also from tourism department, and she said she's going to do a documentary about the historical places in Bauchi.
We'll surely actualize it. It's not just about MOU, that's Memorandum of Understanding, but making sure that the investment, what they promised to bring into the states, they brought it and actualize it to be beneficial to the people of Bauchi State.
The business community appreciate the efforts of the state government in putting together the resources to attract huge investors, while promising them safe and secure environment for economic growth in the state and the entire Northeast region. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
In a business scene, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has issued a draft guideline on the operations of automated teller machines, ATMs, mandating that banks refund customers for failed ATM transactions within a stipulated time frame. Specifically, customers must be refunded for failed interbank ATM transactions within 48 hours, while refunds for failed transactions on the same bank's ATM should be reversed instantly. In the event that an instant reversal is not possible due to technical issues, a manual reversal must be completed within 24 hours. The directive was contained in a circular entitled Exposure of the Draft Guidelines on the Operations of Automated Teller Machines, ATMs, in Nigeria, which was released to banks and other financial institutions and payment service providers. The circular signed by Musa Jimo, Director of the Payment Service Policy Department, is part of CBN's efforts to strengthen the reliability and safety of the country's payment systems. The CBN stated that it is issuing the draft guidelines for public consultation and stakeholder feedback in line with its mandate to promote sound financial system and an efficient payments infrastructure. President Donald Trump has said he would impose an additional 100% tariff on goods from China starting on November 1 or sooner. The new tariff is on top of the 30% tariffs already in effect, indicating a massive escalation after months of a trade truce between the two nations. In particular, electronics, apparel and furniture are among the top goods the United States receives from China. Trump's announcement is tied to Beijing ramping up export controls on its critical rare earths, which are needed to produce many electronics. As a result, Trump appeared to call off a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping that was scheduled for later this month in South Korea. Trump's initial message on Friday, delivered via a Truth Social post in which he threatened massive new tariffs, was ill received by investors on Friday, as fears of a spring deja vu when tariffs on Chinese goods soared to a stunning 145% set in. On a foreign scene, drone and artillery strikes by the paramilitary rapid support forces on the shelter in the Sudanese city of Al-Fashir killed at least 60 people on Friday night and Saturday morning, according to local activists. Al-Fashir is under siege by the RSF as it struggles to wrest control of the army's last stronghold in the Darfur region. The siege has spread hunger and disease in the city, and relentless drone and artillery strikes have hit displacement shelters, mosques and hospitals and clinics. According to the Al-Fashir Resistance Committee, bodies remain under the rubble and others were burned alive inside the shelter caravans, including children, women and elderly who were killed in cold blood. The Resistance Committee said hundreds of civilians have been killed by the attacks, and residents who spoke to Reuters say they had dug bunkers into their homes and neighborhoods for protection. The activist group said the city is losing 30 people on average daily to violence, hunger and disease. Guinea has charged 60 people with arson, theft and murder after a deadly riot at the privately owned Whaley mining firm in the northeastern gold-producing Siguiri region, prosecutors disclosed on Friday. Unrest broke out on October 4 after locals demanded the release of 17 people detained over an earlier vandalism incident at the same site, Siguiri's public prosecutor Ibrahima Kamara said in a statement. Protesters stormed the mine, torching 10 buses, 2 pickup trucks, including one belonging to the gendarmerie, and 2 buildings. 2 people were killed and several others injured, it added. The charges include voluntary arson, destruction of property, and complicity in murder. The official campaign for Ivory Coast's presidential election commenced on Friday, setting the stage for a tense 2-week race that will determine the future leadership of a nation still grappling with the legacy of past electoral violence. 5 approved candidates, including incumbent Alassane Ouattara, are now vying for votes under the shadow of controversial exclusions that threaten to overshadow the process. The Constitutional Council has cleared 5 contenders for the October 25 ballot. The race features President Alassane Ouattara of the ruling RHDP party, who launched his campaign in the economic capital Abidjan. He is joined by prominent opposition figures like Jean-Louis Billion of the Democratic Congress Code, former First Lady Simone Gbagbo, Henrietta Lagou, and independent candidate Owodun Mello. Their campaigns will be closely monitored by the Independent Electoral Commission amid calls for a peaceful process. It's time for Sports Update with Adeniyi Ajishafe.
Team Nigeria kicked off the 11th World Para-Powerlifting Championship taking place in Cairo, Egypt on a good note as Esther Nwogu claimed silver medal in the 50 kg category while Rukayat Ajiboye won bronze medal in the same class. The ongoing championship marked a historic milestone as the fourth World Para-Powerlifting Championship to be hosted in Africa. And in football, Super Eagles head coach Eric Chell has called on Nigerians to rally behind the team, create an intense atmosphere against Benin Republic when both sides clash in the final of 2026 World Cup qualifier. Speaking after Nigeria's crucial 2-1 win over Lesotho, the Malian tactician said the victory is some pressure while reigniting qualification hope.
Today we are happy because we won the 3 points. We are still alive, and maybe the journalists can do the mathematics. So I'm happy for my player. I want to congratulate them. Oh, for us, we feel the pressure since March. So every time when my player they come in camp, they feel the pressure because for Nigeria, for our team, we need to travel and we need to go to the World Cup. So we have a lot of pressure. So this is not an explanation about, but this is the reality. So now the other team, maybe they will take some our pressure too. So I'm happy about that.
Nigeria currently third with 14 points, trail South Africa on 15 points, and leaders Benin Republic on 17 points. Super Eagles will host Benin Republic at the Goswe Akpabio Stadium in Uyo on Tuesday in a decisive showdown. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
Before we go, here's a kicker. In the industrial area Douala, Cameroon's bustling economic capital where concrete has swallowed much of the greenery, one man is bringing nature back into the city. A former welder, Joel Kamgang, once dreamt of working in Dubai, but after a life-changing accident, he's found new purpose in agriculture, all from the seat of a wheelchair he engineered by himself. Take a look.
Joel Kamgang's story was once forged in steel. As a welder, he imagined a bright future abroad, but one tragic road accident left him permanently disabled, and those dreams shattered. For months, the trauma felt like the end of his story, but Kamgang refused to give up. Instead, he rebuilt his life, this time through the soil.
I was a farmer before ending up in this wheelchair. I had 2-hectare pineapple plantation at Hawaii, near Yaoundé. During one of my routine visits to the farm, I was involved in a fatal accident that left me like this. It broke me to the extent that I thought everything was over. But over time, I found the strength to start again.
With training from Greenhouse Academy Cameroon, an initiative of Greenhouse Venture Cameroon, Kamgang turned a small plot in Douala Yassa neighborhood into a thriving greenhouse farm. Yassa's hot, humid climate pushes temperature above 30 degrees, but inside the compact greenhouse, Kamgang carefully turns rows of vibrant bell peppers every day from his wheelchair.
Starting again meant learning greenhouse farming. It wasn't easy, but today I'm producing. The farm now covers 100 square meters and we harvest about 30 kilograms of bell peppers every week.
Starting over meant innovation. His greenhouse is clean, productive, and increasingly popular with local buyers. Experts say this kind of urban farming could be key to Cameroon's food future.
Cameroon has around 30 million people, and the number keeps growing. As the population increases, farmland continues to shrink. Greenhouses allow us to grow food within urban areas, using less land with higher and year-round yields.
Mobility remains a daily struggle as Kamgang navigates his farm with a manually operated wheelchair, hoping to one day get an electric one. But every harvest is proof of what determination can grow. From welding steel to cultivating life, Joel Kamgang has turned personal loss into a story of resilience, showing that with grit and green hands, hope can bloom anywhere.
And that concludes News Hour tonight on Trust TV. For more of our news programs, documentaries, do what follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. For the news production team, thank you for joining us tonight. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Good night.